Hello, hello. Good afternoon. Grandmother clock is chiming in the background, so it must be time to talk keto. Hi, I'm Casey Durango of Go Keto with Casey, where I like to talk about how I've lost 97.4 pounds since starting the ketogenic diet, how you may be able to lose weight, improve your health, and regain control of your life like I did. Today, we're going to talk about the coming holidays. We are entering silly season as far as food goes. And remaining on the ketogenic protocol is not hard. There's plenty of delicious food to eat during the holiday season. There's just a whole bunch of food you want to lay off. So let's talk about that. For those of you who don't know, the ketogenic protocol is one whereby you reduce your carbohydrate intake to a level where your liver stops pushing out glucose for fuel. Glucose is sugar. And happily, our bodies can convert to burning ketones or fat for fuel. And I don't know about you, but I've got plenty of fat on board, tens of thousands of calories of energy to burn. So that's where it is. How do you do that? Keep your carbohydrate intake to 20 grams or fewer a day, total carbs, not net. If it's not on page 4, link below, don't eat it, although you don't really need a list. It's just eat fatty sources of protein. About a cup a day of non-starchy vegetables, max, not minimum. About 2 cups a day of leafy greens, max, not minimum. Don't eat if you're not hungry. Stop when you're satiated. That's what it is. That's as complicated as it gets. So there's a lot of confusing information out there, but honest and true, I can only talk to you about what worked for me, and this has worked for me. All right, let's turn to the topic at hand. And I do want to say hello to folks who have shown up. Hello, hello. I will talk. Hey, Linda, nice to see you. Linda's part of the Go Keto with Casey Club on YouTube. You can see she has a little, she's elevated to a slice of cheese. First it was a coffee cup, a little icon next to her name. Now she's been around long enough, she's cheese. Anyway, so we are in October. We know what's going to happen. It has already started happening. Even with this weird year, we can anticipate that there will be challenges as far as making food choices. It starts in October with Halloween, a candy onslaught, and followed quickly on the heels of every other celebration, holiday, milestone, etc. Thanksgiving, and then the religious and other holidays of December and into January. Almost all of them have been heavily associated with food. That may not have been the way they were when the traditions were started. It was about celebrating. It was about bringing life into our homes during winter months, but it's turned into food. And let's face it, Halloween's all about candy. So what do we do? How do we prepare for that? I can tell you, to my thinking, the only way to prepare for it is way in advance and gird our loins and remind ourselves that we don't eat candy. We don't eat candy. It's not a question. We don't ask ourselves. We don't say, how much candy can I eat and still feel well? We don't eat candy. If you're going to hand out candy to neighborhood children, if they are indeed allowed to come to your home, that's one thing. You know, some people hand out erasers and pencils. They're probably not the most popular house on the block in regards to Halloween. But if you're going to have it in your home, just prepare yourself. It's in my home. I don't eat it. I don't eat candy. Say it out loud. Repeat it with me. I don't eat candy. I don't eat candy. No equivocation. I don't eat candy. Same thing when it comes into Thanksgiving. I don't eat cornbread stuffing. I don't eat sweet potato pie with marshmallow topping. I don't eat apple pie. Now that sounds like, well, what fun is that? How can you have a holiday without that? Can I tell you what? You can have a beautiful holiday without that food. Let's really boil it down. Our get togethers, our celebrations, our holidays should be about the people in our lives. Our families of choice. Sometimes we choose our friends to be our family. It should be about getting outside of our own brains and doing something for somebody else. It doesn't have to be about candy corn and caramels. It doesn't have to be about dinner rolls. I mean, really think about it. Think about it. All that food. Is that enhancing the holiday? Or does it make the holiday something where we go into a coma for a while, figuratively speaking, and then we emerge a few days into January, regretting our decisions again? I started my ketogenic protocol on January 8th, 2014. I had given up on losing weight. I can't share them here, but you can go to my blog and see my photos that are such as they are, my before photos. And those were not at my heaviest. I'd given up on losing weight. I was morbidly obese for 30 years, from my mid 20s to my mid 50s. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. It was January, and I'd done it again. I didn't indulge myself. Not that I was going into the holiday saying, oh, I'm going to eat everything in sight. No, you wake up with great intentions every day. I'm going to be stronger this time. I'm going to avoid it. And then it gets to be 10:30 in the morning and you've already blown it. And then you say, well, it's 10:30, I've blown it. I might as well just start over tomorrow. I'll do better tomorrow, right? The magical tomorrow, I'll do better tomorrow. Imagine January 2021. And can any of us wait for 2021? No. Let's get to 2021, friends. Imagine January 2021. Not only will it not be 2020 anymore, but think about being there and being able to look back and say, I had a great time over this October, November, December holiday season. And I stayed in charge of what I put in my mouth. And let's not make any bones about it. When we eat food, it's a choice. It's not an involuntary reaction. Hopefully no one is pinning us down and force feeding us. We have to make choices. We have to make decisions. And I speak as someone who for years overall made the wrong decisions about my food. I wasn't trying to make the wrong decisions. I tried to do the eat more, move more, eat less, low fat, did the summer of the triathlons, tried all those things. I wasn't trying to make bad decisions. Part of me was lying to myself. You know, we tell ourselves the same things that the people on my 600-pound life episodes tell themselves. I look to food for comfort. Food is my friend. I eat when I'm bored. I have no control. I can't stop eating. Have you ever told yourself any of those things? I have. And of course, it's bull. I could. I didn't. But I could have. What happens when you start the ketogenic protocol, let's let you know why this is different. When you start burning fat for fuel, it suppresses appetite and hunger. So that's great. That happens naturally. It's just physiology. Whereas if you're burning glucose for fuel, sugar, your brain tells you about every 3 hours to eat more. And we've all experienced that. You know, food is still digesting in our stomach from the previous plate of food. And yet we're saying, get me some more. I'm hungry. But you're not hungry. No way. No way I could have been hungry at 10:15 in the morning when I just ate at 8 a.m. My brain was telling me to get more glucose. When you're burning fat for fuel, that stops. But that doesn't mean that we just stop eating food that we don't need. We still have to be prepared for things like holiday seasons. We have to be prepared for bowls of candy. No, nobody needs candy. Nobody. The children don't need candy, but we certainly don't need candy. No one needs it. No, it's not medicinal. I used to make that joke about M&Ms. Oh, I eat M&Ms. They're medicinal. They even come in pill form. We use things we tell ourselves. Oh, by the way, before I go too much further, my pink drink, hashtag Casey's pink drink. Glass full to brimming with ice, diet tonic water, a splash of diet cranberry, and in there somewhere is a little squeeze of lime. It helps because when I do a lot of talking, it helps keep my mouth satisfied. Okay. What was I saying? You still have to make the decisions. I'll warn you. If you wait until you're in the middle of the decision-making process in real time, it might be too late. If we struggle with food choices, you want to prepare yourself before you have to make the decision. Every mouthful is a decision. We need to prepare ourselves for that decision-making process. As we, if you wait until you're in the middle of it, it might be too late. As the saying goes, we don't drown because we can't swim. We drown because we panic. Oh my God, look at this smorgasbord. So much food, what am I going to do? And so you end up just piling your plate high with everything. Or you don't want to offend a host. In our Patreon group, I'm going to give a shout out to patrons. I imagine some are, yes, hey, Nadja, I got your note card, Nadja. Thank you so much. That was really nice. We just had I do about 20 videos a month in the mornings. They're called snippets. And people suggest topics. And one of them was from someone, a patron, this is her first holiday season on keto. She said, how do I tell my loving mother-in-law who loves to cook? She feels like feeding people is love. And she makes my favorite cheesecake and other dish, sweet potato pie or sweet potato casserole with marshmallow topping. She makes it specifically for me because I love it. But how do I tell her that not this year? This is a challenge. And I'm really glad she asked way in advance because she needs to have the conversation with her mother-in-law. And she said her mother-in-law is a bit of a food pusher. We might know people like that. So you have to be prepared. And but we always have apple pie a la mode on Thanksgiving or Christmas or Passover or Hanukkah. Throughout the year, there are always holidays and celebrations. Well, we're not going to this year. Or you may have it, I'm passing. The first holiday season I went through in 2014, because once I started this, I really didn't deviate. Doesn't mean that I always knew low carb would work for me. I knew since 1977. I had to be in the right space in my brain. I didn't want to take insulin for type 2 diabetes. I'd given up on losing weight. And I knew I was on deck for that. So anyway, so from January, I pretty much stuck with it. And I lost weight steadily, not super fast. The first year, I lost 47 pounds. And I had a lot to lose. So that's on average less than a pound a week. And I was thrilled with it. 2 more years to lose the last 50 pounds. Thrilled with it. Anywho, first holiday season. Not one mouthful. And it was not hard. And we hosted dinners for our family. We went to holiday parties, a buffet. And my husband by this time was doing it with me. He never had a weight problem, but he wanted the health benefits. And he heard the same scholarly lectures I did. And he saw the change in me. Not one mouthful. And I not only still enjoyed the season, I enjoyed it more. I felt better. I felt in charge. I felt proud of myself. And then when January, my first anniversary being on keto came, it was not a January where I looked back and said, oh, I did it again. What is wrong with me? Why am I so weak? I thought the opposite. I thought, I rock. I had never thought that before. I thought I rocked in certain things. I have certain gifts and talents, and I won't be coy. I know what they are. But my inability to lose, not my inability to lose weight, because it sounds like I was not able to ever lose weight. The fact that I was obese outweighed. We were just talking about this on a patron video group session just an hour ago. The fact that I was obese literally outweighed all my other talents in my mind. But that January, I was victorious. Victorious. And I've never looked back. Not one birthday, not one cocktail party, not one anniversary. You know, my husband and I, next month, will be married 40 years. I feel better now than I did on our 5th wedding anniversary, physically. I got some wrinkles where there didn't used to be wrinkles and, you know, things like that. And gravity does take a part, but I feel better. So there's that. Speaking of January, quick. And by the way, speaking of Patreon, another plug, the 20 videos a month, most of them at the suggestion of patrons, access to a private hidden Facebook group for patrons, for Go Keto with Casey patrons, 5 or 6 patron-only live streams a month, 5 or 6 patron-only video group sessions a month, and one-on-ones with me, depending on your pledge level. Thank you very much. Plus discounts on swag. I'm just going to say this. These are getting ready to go out. I was not going to do a calendar this year. But I was, people said, but no. So this is the first one I've designed all by myself. I did this. And there's me and Jack. And there's Cuckoo. And there's one of our chickens. Then on the back, here are the months. And a lot of these are just repos of cards that I send out to patrons for a month. Anyway, so this will go on sale. And patrons get a little discount. Anyway, enough about that. I am now going to turn. Oh, and here's a t-shirt. I'm stronger than a cookie. This is good to keep in mind as we prepare for the holidays. I'm stronger than a cookie, even if it's a Christmas cookie, even if it's in the shape of a reindeer. I'm stronger than pecan pie. I'm stronger than stuffing. We tell ourselves we are powerless in the face of food, but that's ridiculous. All of us have experienced and seen things that are devastating. All of us have. I don't care whether you're 20 or 70 or 80. We've all been through divorce, bankruptcy, burying loved ones, humiliation at the hands of another, broken hearts, horrible bosses. Ugh. Really? I'm not stronger than a cookie? Yes, I'm stronger than a cookie. You should be able to see that t-shirt. I sound like all I'm doing is selling. It says Go Keto with Casey. I'm not. Well, I am, but it's not the point. You don't have to buy one thing to be 100% successful at the ketogenic protocol. Not one. Just lay off the carbs. So let's say hey. And I'm sorry. I know a lot of people have been commenting, and I have missed it. Oh, Keto Diamond Channel writes, love the calendar idea. This is, I think, my 4th year of doing these. And they're just plain wall calendars. You know, they just, you know. Here's go. Oh, here's one. Here's one of the months. I'm proud of this one. Cravings are not a life emergency. Neither is hunger, for that matter. It'll be okay. Just reminders. Hey, Jean, haven't heard from you in a while. Oh, I'm in town where I get a signal. Hooray, I caught you live. Laura Williams writes, thank you so much for doing these videos and live streams. You've been so inspiring to me. Hello to everybody and happy birthday, Karen. Oh, it's somebody's birthday. Happy birthday, Karen. Ketogenic. No candy here. I let my kids pick out non-food items to give out. Helps those kids who have food allergies and sensory issues too. No one needs that much candy. Correct? I don't have many regrets in my life. Because I have a pretty good gig going on here. And by gig, I mean life. I have a pretty good life. I'm the luckiest person you'll ever meet. So anything, trials and tribulations and 30 years of morbid obesity brought me to this moment right now. But one thing I would have done differently is I would have raised my family on the ketogenic protocol. Kids involved. We didn't eat a bunch of junk food, but Victoria writes, 40 years. I know, right? And they said it would never last. I mean, like everybody said it would never last. We knew each other for 3 months before we got married. He spoke very little English. I spoke no Spanish. And as I've said many times, after our second child was born, we had to learn to speak, to communicate verbally. Did I see Judy Tucker? Hey, Judy. Judy, if you don't mind sharing your story, Judy is a patron, but she has an amazing story. as well. Judy's a farmer from Hopkinton, Iowa. A true farmer, always been a farmer on a farm. Cattle, I don't know, do you have sheep and goats? Do you have pigs, chickens? I know you got chickens. Tell your story, Judy. How much weight have you lost? Judy, writes 40-year anniversary tomorrow for us. Happy, healthy, and keto and finding Casey on YouTube in 2018. Dinah writes, Casey, you're stronger than black coffee. Yeah. Jean writes, I've not lost an ounce in over a year, but now down to a size 6. Losing inches without losing ounces is a thing. I am finding that my body is somewhat remodeling even now as I am flat out stable. My weight as of this morning has fluctuated a grand total of 0.3 tenths of a pound. 0.3 of a pound from October 10th, 2020, all the way back to October 10th, 2017. But my body is changing. I've been working out on the Total Gym a little bit. Exercise is great, but it is not an effective fat loss tool. But I want to be strong. I want bone density. I want to, now that I've got all this life to live happily, I want to be as strong as possible. Keto Diamond Channel writes, just want to thank you. You are one of the first keto people I found on YouTube. Been keto over 3 years, lost 155 pounds and lost 29 diseases. I didn't know there were 29 diseases. Congratulations. Judy writes, I've lost 130 pounds. So she used to haul her extra 130 pounds around the farm. I think, Judy, didn't you share that you used to get on the tractor, you used to have a stool? You had to step on a stool, and now you just hop up on the tractor. Melissa Andrews, as of today, I've lost 70 pounds. A round of applause. On the patron video group session, our friend Kimmy from Germany, and she brought a friend with her, Carmen. Kimmy hit a new low today, and she's 14 pounds away from being an uhu, which in kilograms is the equivalent of being in Wonderland. So we're very happy for that. Hey, Rosalind. Rosalind writes, hello from the UK. Good to see you, Rosalind. You're a patron, aren't you? Michelle V. Casey, your guns are looking fantastic. Thank you. I will tell you, I am proud of my arms. I've been working on the Total Gym. They're a little bit more toned. People ask, skin comes up a lot, loose skin. And yeah, I'm 5'1", so the amount of weight I've lost, one would consider I'd have sagging skin, perhaps folds of skin. I don't. I have crepey skin on my tummy. And, when I've got some body fat here, I haven't done anything special. If my skin is less saggy and droopy than I would have expected, it's probably genetics. Probably. Good luck. I inherited perhaps my good skin from my mother. I also inherited her cankles. So there's that. It's a trade-off. But I do use the Total Gym, but I've only been doing that for about the last 3 months consistently. I think I just finished up week 12 of consistent time on the Total Gym. And it's very easy. I'm not, I'm pushing to, I have to push a little bit to get through all the reps and sets. And some of them I can't get all the reps done. But thank you, Michelle, for that. I'm proud of them. I didn't go out in sleeveless outfits, shirts, tops for decades, if I could avoid it. And now I wear like tank tops a lot. Yeah, Judy writes, yes, I did use a stool. No more. And Michelle writes, it's working. How about you, Michelle? You been on your Total Gym there, girl? Keto Diamond Channel writes, I can't wait to lose more in my arms. They are just pitiful looking right now. Michelle, I don't want to put anyone on the, I don't want to put anyone on the spot. If you have something you want to share, share. I know some of your backstories, but I'm not going to put it on blast for everybody. Thank you, Diana writes. You should be proud. You look fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. I feel fantastic. Here's another thing. Sometimes we have to learn to take a compliment. If you're not used to getting compliments, or if people compliment you and you simply assume that they're lying, that's me a lot of times. I just assume people are being polite. But we do have to kind of learn to take a compliment. When you start to lose weight and feel better and you carry yourself differently and maybe you get clothes that you feel better about and someone says, wow, have you lost weight? You look great. Very often we will respond, oh, well, I've lost some. I've got a long way to go. Because heaven forfend that we let anyone think that we think that we've accomplished something. It's like, oh, I'm going to suggest this. And I started having to practice this. When people would notice, wow, you've lost weight. Because I was perfectly round for 30 years. So in my previous career, I'd go in the office and people say, oh, you've lost weight. Or you look great. So I just started practicing saying, thank you. I feel great. Which is really the point, right? But yes, feeling great tops looking great any day. Looking great is nice too. Keto Diamond Channel writes, but I rock the tanks. Good for you. I'm so impressed with people with body positivity. I just didn't have any. I mean, I feel good now. I think no matter what size you are, rock it. I just was not one of those people. And I'm sorry I have to keep putting my glasses on, but, age. Michelle writes, give me a hint what I might be sharing. Michelle, have you not shared that as you've been progressing with your gradual weight loss, doing nothing dramatic, have you not shared that your arm skin appears to be receding or tightening or whatever you want to call it? Hey, Ross, I've lost 100 pounds. I'm proud of my scars and sags and crepe because I'm finally losing the weight. Yeah, right? People say, I don't want to lose weight. What if I get wrinkles? Well, then, oh well. Yeah, you don't want to have wrinkles because that wouldn't look good. But losing a foot to diabetes, you're okay with that. That's an extreme, but you know what I'm saying. Judy writes, saving my snippets when we are picking corn. And you're my inspiration, Casey. I keep doing what you're doing. You keep me on track. You are my inspiration. You are my inspiration. Picking corn. I get really proud of myself because I haul about 25 pounds at a time of chicken feed up when we get it up to the chicken yard for the chickens. Judy is picking corn and then literally mending fences and birthing calves. She's a farmer. I have backyard chickens. Keto Diamond Channel writes, compliments are great, but having to buy a size 4 instead of 28 pants will mess with your mind. LOL, indeed. Uh-oh. Heather writes, lost the feed. Can you guys still see me? I don't have any indication that anything has stopped. Refresh your screen. Michelle writes, oh yeah, my turkey waddle and saggy arms are doing some kind of metamorphosis for the better. Thank you. Hey, Scott. I appreciate the idea of planning ahead for the holidays. I think over the next several months, if you and others can share specific examples of keto-friendly foods for holidays, can help us with plan menus. Thank you. And Scott is a patron as well, if you don't mind me saying that. The thing is, you can generally just eat everything and lay off the carbs. Almost any kind of holiday spread will have some kind of luscious meat, right? It could be prime rib, turkey, duck. It could be meatloaf for all that's worth. It could be salmon, rack of lamb. So that right there is perfectly fine. Don't need to worry about it. As long as you don't, swim everything in gravy that's carb laden with thickeners and sweeteners and stuff. And then vegetables, roast vegetables. Get some cauliflower, broccoli, zucchini, and onions. Toss them in some olive oil, roast them. Perfect. Mashed cauliflower. Just steam the cauliflower, put it in a food processor, a little bit of cream, a little bit of cream cheese, salt and pepper. As a matter of fact, when we have the kids over, we make mashed cauliflower and they prefer it to mashed potatoes. My husband prefers mashed cauliflower to mashed potatoes. Excuse me. Not COVID. Hold, please. Sorry about that. I need to make sure I unmuted myself because one time I was just talking and talking and talking and talking and I left myself muted for like 3 minutes. And of course, desserts. Just pass on the desserts. Antipasto. I'll make an antipasto when the kids come over, all their families. Olives. Little petite dill pickles. Cheese. Delicious, luscious cheese. Pork rinds with blue cheese dressing as a dip. Did I say olives? I mean, you guys share your stuff. No one has ever complained. All the food gets eaten all the time. You put out a spread, you have some nice wine if you are so inclined. Keep a bottle of scotch on hand because my kids might like a little bit of scotch. But planning mashed cauliflower is like crack, Queenie in the house. Keep in mind that vegetables are not unlimited. Now, if you're going to have more vegetables than usual, you're probably not going to wake up in the gutter. But mashed cauliflower is something that is a trigger for me because it kind of conjures up the mashed potatoes and, it's, with that. So I have to prepare myself. When I make mashed cauliflower, I have to tell myself I'm just having this much of it. And I'll tell my husband, okay, I'm not having any more mashed cauliflower. And he'll say, okay. Like, I'm not keeping track. But I say it out loud. I'm not having any more. Because it is something that I can just eat right out of the pan by the giant spoonful. What's Twyla got going on? Oh, deviled eggs. Everybody loves deviled eggs. And they're filling. What a great appetizer. So I have a Fiesta-ware deviled egg plate. Some of you have seen it in the background in my videos. It's like the star of the show. Deviled eggs. Fantastic. They're filling. Here's the thing. No one's going hungry. No one's going to go hungry eating this way. So if you're at someone else's home, and most people are okay. I mean, if people's identity is tied up with whether or not you eat their homemade rolls, they maybe need to get another hobby. The first year my husband and I were doing this, we went to a friend's home. They have an annual Christmas Eve brunch. And I had lost some amount of weight by that time. I don't remember. It was probably about 40 pounds from January to Christmas Eve. And here's the sign of a generous heart and good friends. And they are good cooks, really good cooks. And they put out this spread for people in their neighborhood. And we don't live in their neighborhood, but we're invited anyway. And so it's a house full of people. She had all the layout and all the normal things that you might have. And then they had made keto versions of the other foods. And they had it labeled. Smaller casserole dishes, but little signs, whatever you'd call them, that you would put in front of the food on the little ornaments. And it said, keto Christmas casserole. And they just left off things like the breadcrumbs or the crust. So there was still delicious cheese and broccoli and cauliflower and ham. And it was so great. That is a kind soul. And most people are kind. But even if There's nothing available to eat. Keep this in mind. You go to a party, a brunch, just don't eat it if it's not good for you. Most people won't notice. Grab a, glass of water or a cocktail, or, munch on some cheese if it's there or whatever, but mingle and enjoy the people. You're not going to pass out from hunger. Don't put food in your mouth that doesn't serve you. And nobody gets a vote on what you eat. Nobody gets a vote on what you eat. No one. Not your spouse, not your kid, not your mother-in-law, not your son-in-law, not your doctor, not your coworker for sure. And certainly not people at a cocktail party. People want to tell us what we should be eating. Are they going to show up at your next doctor's appointment? Are they going to take the insulin or the metformin for you? Are they going to take the acid reflux medication for you? Are they going to take the anti-inflammatories for your joint pain? No. Let them enjoy their food. Let us enjoy good health. But we must prepare in advance. This is the time. Okay, there's the television show Cheers. There is a quick scene where Norm and Cliff had cooked up something they were going to do, some foolproof plan to do something or other. And of course, it backfired. And Norm turns to Cliff and said, "Oh, wow, we didn't see that coming." And Diane, who happens to overhear and is passing by, she says, after Norm says, "We didn't see that coming," she says, "This from people who fail every year to see winter coming." And then Norm says, "Oh, that reminds me, I have to take this, put the storm windows up." We know this is going to happen every year. If you're like me, you knew for all of your adulthood that getting through the holiday season, depending on your choices, was going to make you feel like crap in January. Every year. And I'm a smart person. I'm real smart. So this year, let's be prepared. If it's too much to think, I can't, what am I going to do until January 1st? Don't think of it in that term. Think, I don't eat candy. I don't eat carbs. And then control what you do right now. We get through this moment by moment, decision by decision, mouthful by mouthful, or lack of mouthful by mouthful. Keep in mind, we're not going to keel over if we don't eat for 2 hours at a cocktail party or a brunch. If someone is really verklempt at Thanksgiving that we did not eat the homemade double Dutch chocolate chip cookies, they'll get over it. You don't have to be ugly about it. You don't even have to say, "No, I'm not eating those cookies." You just don't eat them. It's amazing. Some people make comments on what we eat, but most people couldn't care less. They don't notice. Ketogenic writes, Michelle writes, "And you won't need a post-dinner nap." Ketogenic writes, "My keto food is always the first to be eaten at the potluck. Deviled eggs with meat and cheese are popular. What is not to love?" Heather Silver writes, "On the news last night, metformin linked to causing cancer." These medications almost always have side effects. Now, I don't know about metformin. It's been used a lot. Who knows? Maybe the makers of insulin want metformin to sound like it'll cause cancer. I don't know the answer to that question. I'll ask Dr. Westman next time. Okay, here we go. Lori Kersey writes, "Help, grieving, can't seem to get back on, help." Lori, I'm really sorry. You don't say for what you are grieving or for whom. And losing a loved one is often, I'll hear from people, "I was doing great. I lost 62 pounds and then my mother passed and I've put 50 back on." I'm going to say something. This is not meant to sound harsh. If hunger is not the problem, food is not the solution, is true. Eating will not bring your loved one back to life. Eating won't make an unfaithful spouse faithful. As a matter of fact, it might have the opposite effect. Eating will not make your bank account fix itself. Eating is not comfort. Very often it's torture. So I'm sorry for your situation, Lori. Ask yourself if the person for whom you are grieving wants you to eat food that makes you unwell. I've lost people. And it's terrible. But no amount of food brings them back. Yeah, Michelle writes, I haven't read that about that yet. Which kind of cancer? I'm very suspect of quick headlines about quick things. Follow Zoe Harcum and let her drill down for you how really misleading, even from respected journals, some research is. Heather writes, I had to once again inform my friends that I am a carb addict and to stop pushing the crappy carbs in me, to think of me as an alcoholic. It kind of does amaze me where people get the leave to stick their noses in what we do or don't eat. Very few other aspects of our lives do people do that. What do you got to do? And then if they won't stop, then you have to make a decision about your relationship with those people. And very often it says much more about them than it does about you, right? Linda writes, Linda makes me so happy to see that chunk of cheese next to your name. I went to a baked potato bar party. I offered to bring chili, keto recipe. It was a success, and a good friend brought a keto cheesecake. Linda writes, I was not crying. There is nothing for me to eat. I was satisfied. Praises for turkey at Thanksgiving. We get to step back from the food. Step back from the food. I wrote a blog post. And the photo I attached was one I had taken. It was of our dining room table with the linen cloth and the fancy china and everything. And our kids were coming and their families. And I was excited to prepare the food. And so I had everything preset. And we had a brand new granddaughter who was there. She was weeks old. And I spent the time holding the grandchild, and everyone was eating and enjoying their wine and conversation and all that. And by the end of it, because I'd been holding the baby the whole time, I simply had not served myself any food. I mean, the food was passed around. I just didn't get any because my arms were full. We ended up finishing. Someone got up and served coffee. And I realized I didn't eat anything. But this was one of the best family dinners we'd ever had, from my perspective. It's about the people. It's not about the food. And we're not going to pass out if we don't eat. Hey, Jennifer. Stuart Pierce, who was actually Jennifer, writes, so true, Casey. When I lost my dad years ago, I used food. Never helped. Thanks. It never helps. And all it might do is just make you, now you feel sad and sick. Thank you. So true. So, to sum up, to prepare for the holidays, we have to prepare mentally. It's not about preparing for the food as much as preparing here. Let's not be one of those people who every year fails to see winter coming. Let's know that just because, this protocol is simple. It doesn't mean that it's easy because of the outside influences and sometimes the inside influences. But just because it's not easy and just because it might be a challenge doesn't mean we can't do it. And it certainly doesn't mean we shouldn't do it. Imagine yourself on January 5th, having gotten through everything and maybe even lose 2 pounds. over the holidays instead of having put on 8 pounds. And maybe you feel better. And maybe it says, I can do this. And I'm going to tell you something. It says it on the back page of my calendar. And I'm sorry if this is all in reverse. Remember, if I can do this, you can do this. I promise, Casey. And there's a really funny, memoji of me with the glasses. All right, friends. Thank you. I will be putting the calendars up for sale, and I'll let you know, but they're not ready yet. I have to take pictures and stuff. They'll be on my blog if you're interested. Limited quantity. I'm not ordering anymore. Thank you so much. I will see you, hopefully, God willing, and the creek don't rise next Saturday, same time, same place.